What's up, everyone, and welcome to Making the Shift for Autistic Kids.
We're an SLP couple from California with 4 boys.
And we're here every week to bring you neuroaffirming tips, tricks, and tools.
Are you ready to make the shift?
Let's do this. What is going on, everyone? It is me, Mr. Speech Dude, Chris Winger. Look at who's in this picture to my side. That's right, that's me. I just got my staff photos. As you can see, I'm here at work. I'm here live. Jesse and I and our little toddler, he's 20 months old. He recently was injured, nothing too significant, but we had to take care of some things. Jesse said, you know what? I've got this live show that I need to be at, and it's on, what do you do when you have a space but you don't have a sensory gym? What are some tools and strategies? And I was like, oh, that's going to be such a great episode. Have fun. And she's like, no. I need you to cover. I can remember I got to take care of Teddy. And I said, oh, that's right up my alley. Hot diggity dog. Here we go. You're going to get some great value. I promise. And I, as you know, go through these things relatively quickly. And we just drop some good pieces of information so you can walk away with some strategies that are effective immediately. All right. Here's the very first thing I want to share with you. Now, for those of you that might be new viewers watching this, or maybe new listeners, if you're listening to the podcast, I work with high school students. I work with older students. So when it comes to talking about sensory tools and strategies, as with anything, I try to use language that goes with the age group. And in high school, I make sure that I balance that. So that way they're really having buy-in, and it's actually reflective of them and their needs. Let me give you an example. In my classroom, it's a classroom. I'm going to show you in a second. In my classroom, I have a variety of little bins. I got them off of Amazon for a couple bucks. And in these bins, I have a variety of sensory, tactile input type things. The students do not have to grab them if they don't want, but I have them kind of set up and scattered around. Check out these ones right here. These are a few bucks. They're squishy, colorful, like squishy balls, right? Oh, I could hold on to this in a 3-hour IEP meeting and be all right. I'm feeling good. I don't refer to these as toys, right? It's like, go grab a sensory toy. Well, I work with high school students, so older students just refer to them as what they are. It's a regulation tool. It's a learning tool, right? That's what these are. These are tools to learn. When I'm in an IEP meeting, and I'm sitting there, like, I'm not kidding. Keep a bin of these in the middle of the table at the IEP, and you'll see people grabbing them. They're like, ooh, like this. I'm focused. I'm dialed in. Let's get this thing going. That's how it is with our students, right? Talk about language like that with the teacher at the beginning of the year, and you're going to get up like Freddie Freeman in the World Series and knocking out a grand slam. Imagine the teacher starting the very first day by saying, hello, everybody. I wanted to share with you that this class is going to go smooth this year. I have a lot of different baskets in the back that are regulation tools, learning tools for you. Feel free to grab 1 or 2 if you want, if it helps you. If not, no worries. Right there. That was 10 seconds of me setting the tone for the entire school year so nobody feels stigmatized by grabbing whatever, a sensory toy or a fidget. Just call it a learning tool or a regulation tool. And you've got students that are like, this does keep me regulated, because that's what it is. That's the purpose. That's meeting the sensory need. All right. So that right there is the language that I use. And I recommend that being a strategy that can be shared with teachers so they can use that at the beginning of the year, the beginning of the semester, or whenever, right? You could do that at any time of the year. So with those tactile things in place, I'm going to turn my computer so you can see over my shoulder and look how large this classroom is. Now, if you have a very tiny space, maybe you're wedged into the bathroom in the nurse's office. That's where your speech office is at. Like let's say it's in that little bin, right? It doesn't matter. You could set up your space the same. You could still have all these tools. I have a TV over there. It has video games. Those are very regulating and calm. Gets the students to authentically connect and have conversations. But by all means, you go at the discretion of what meets your needs. I've got a rug over here. It's 8 by 10. I got it off of Amazon. It's like a plushy type carpet rug. And it came squeezed in this little airtight, shipment package that was like smaller than my head. I was like, no way is that thing going to be 8 by 10. And the next thing you know, opened it up and poof, it was like super big. I was like, how do they do that? That's awesome. I got a plush chair over there. I got it at Kohl's. I've got a weighted blanket. This is my calming corner, and I'm still adding to it, but you can see I put some lights up over around the whiteboard that I got over at Big Lots for a couple bucks. I've got my projector, but some people don't have a projector. So we're talking about like sensory, tactile type things that I can embed and get the students to feel calm and regulated. When they're calm and regulated, that's when we're going to have the most opportune time for them to communicate, to express, to connect, to feel safe. All of those things, right? It's the way it is in class. If you can get your needs met, if you have sensory processing challenges or differences, and those aren't being met in the classroom, then what happens? The teacher has a chart, and on the chart, it's like a behavior chart or a good and bad, like, hey, you're not in the green zone today. We're going to slide you down to the yellow. Oh, you got dysregulated, or they don't call it dysregulated. Bad behavior, you're going to go down to the red, right? So what happens over time when you're constantly getting class dojo points ripped away from you and you're constantly getting moved down from the chart, but everybody else seems to magically stay up on the top at over out of 10 and you're down at a 1 and a 2. You're constantly getting sent out of the class. You're getting detention and all these things. Well, if you have sensory processing needs that aren't getting met and it appears on the outside as dysregulation, then what happens is you compare yourself by going, well, I guess I'm not as good as these other students because I'm always staying down in the red zone. Impacts you and your self-esteem. And if your self-esteem is impacted, then it's going to impact you to feel any ability to want to go advocate anyway, right? So we start with understanding that kids with sensory processing differences and challenges might also have self-esteem challenges because of that correlation. So we meet those needs and we can do it within our setting. Some of the other strategies that I like to use is to talk to kids and students about what sensory processing is, right? In an easy way. And so I'm going to share my screen real quick. Let's see if I can get this up here. So we'll share this. I created a neurodiversity affirming activity book, and towards the end, like, I don't know, I want to say 3/4 of the way through, I use language, as you can see, sensory processing made easy. I don't use any stigmatizing language, but the students get to learn about their sensory needs. And then as we just discussed, what are the tools and the things that help regulate for learning? And they can learn why it helps them. They can learn that neurodivergent sensory experiences are a thing, and it's okay if they have differences. And what are the tools that represent them to manage the sensory input? So all of these activities within the book are building that foundation to help tie into self-esteem, to get needs met. You can find that book at speechdude.com/book. speechdude.com/book, and that's where you can find it. But anyway, that's what you want to start with. So some other things that are key on really embedding it into your setting, and whether you're at home, whether you're in the classroom, whether you're in a smaller office, or some other visuals. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to share my screen. And if you have Disney Plus, sometimes I will show students, like, yoga for teens on YouTube, or ASMR sounds for anxiety, or maybe I'll type in some calming or meditation or things like that with Go Noodle. But if you're able to stream with your location that you're at and you have Disney Plus, go to the search bar and type in Zenimation. Boom, Zenimation. And the very first one pops up. You're going to see that there's 10 different Zenimations. They're 5 minutes in length. Some of them are a little bit longer. As you can see, they go 6, 7, 8 minutes. And they're visually appealing. They create a sense of calm. They reflect Disney movies, and the students love this. It's great for all ages. So you can get your session if you have a student who comes in who tends to have hyperarousal and they're bouncing off the walls a little bit like Tigger or me. This is a good way to get them regulated, get them ready to learn. The other thing too is at the very end, reflect back on what they saw or the movies that they enjoy and build those descriptive language, vocabulary skills, self-advocacy skills, and really help build those connections and opportunities for conversation. And you'll be winning the race when you do that. So Zenimation on Disney Plus, definitely check out those. Those are 10 tools that you can use and really cool stuff. So I'm going to stop sharing my screen and I'm going to wrap it up here a little bit as we conclude the session. So reflecting back, getting the language right of aligning it with the age groups, regulation tools, learning tools, exploring the ones that work for you. The other thing too are visuals, Disney Plus, YouTube, Go Noodle, Headspace. That could really help out. I really do like the Zenimation. You probably haven't heard of it, but those are fantastic. And then just getting a variety of other tools. You could do some movement things, whatever you find to be comfortable for yourself and the things that gets the students to stay regulated. Because remember, a regulated student is going to be able to be in their front part of their brain, their upstairs brain, ready to learn, ready to communicate. But if they're not regulated, then it's going to be not the most optimal time for learning. All of this information that you found in this episode and that you've watched here on the live show can easily be translated over to the teachers to get them on board for just that quick kind of language to help out. I wanted to share with you that you're the best for showing up here for the show. Thank you so much. If you want access to checking out that book, there's a lot of activities at speechdude.com/book. And you, I promise, will love it. All right, that's all I got for you until our next show. I appreciate you coming in. We'll see you later.
Thank you so much for tuning in to Making the Shift. If you enjoyed this episode, it would mean the world to us if you could like, subscribe, share it with a friend. Our only goal is to spread neurodiversity affirming approaches all over the world, and we can only do that with your help. Thanks for being here, and we'll see you next time.